It's all good.
Kill me.
Maybe later.
Yeah, I still have things I need to do.
Yeah, you have an entire faction of nature elves / monster girls
That I
to
have
make
to
for me.
that I have to put together.
Yeah, and let's be honest, I'm gonna need you're gonna be one of the main players in
The thing.
figuring out balancing for like rules and stuff.
Yeah, namely because I know who to go to and go, is this good?
Yeah, and let's be honest, you have experience.
With
You have a
homebrew.
lot of reference material. You have a lot of reference material, and you have a lot of experience. Like you collect these things.
Yeah. Okay, just gonna put this in the various self-promo threads at work. Let's see, we have here. God damn it, Mumsy. He got stung by a wasp. In February. Don't.
Of course he did.
Welcome
To
to.
be fair, we've had mosquitoes trying to get into our house already in February.
Well, don't you all live, like, right the frick next to a swamp?
I mean, yes, part of our backyard is a swamp,
Hello,
but it's
everyone,
winter.
and. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Uh. This morning has been a morning. For some of us, a little bit more so than others.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you what I was going into work for.
What did you do?
Oh, I didn't do it.
Oh, okay.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault. My chain of command is just garbage.
Ah, yes. Yes, we were.
Yeah, I need to. I got the drill letter for this weekend yesterday.
Whee!
All right, so
I know enough to know that is really not enough notice.
yeah, I mean, I get the schedule for the week Sunday. I can't get the schedule to my boss in time to schedule. You're seeing an issue here.
Yeah. Honestly, if it were me, I would just go to my boss and go, "Hey,
Yeah,
well,
this got
I would,
dropped in my lap yesterday. I have a timestamp.
yeah." And if he decides to be a prick about it, just when the day of comes, just go.
Okay, bye. I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Federal law says that he cannot punish me for this at all. It would be a very foolish decision if he were to
Attempt it.
attempt it, because
Uh,
there are.
basically, Rep has some delightful scheduling issues regarding his civilian work and his and the work we are not technically allowed to speak of.
I got military stuff. I have armies to do.
So today we are drawing a lovely, lovely monster girl based off of the Monster Hunter Elder Dragon Kushala Daora.
Yeah.
Kushala premiered in second gen, I think.
Yes, Kushala was a Kushala premiered in literally the very second Monster Hunter game. This is a monster. This is a monster that came out on PS2. That tells you how old it is.
Yep.
It is the second flagship monster, right after Rathalos and
Yeah.
/ Monoblos / Laoshan and Fatalis.
The first game had a lot of flagships.
I mean, it was more like story twists. No, Fatalis was kind of number one. Fatalis was the final boss of number one.
Ah, how was the D&D game yesterday? Well, stressful. For the
Events occurred.
stressful for the characters. I, as the player, was having a blast.
And it's going to be even more of a blast when the pirate campaign begins.
Yeah. For context, we're doing a campaign set in the world of the Fate Grand Order mobile game.
Oh. That could be fun.
Yeah. Our characters are interns number 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
And because of a complete and utter borking of the space-time continuum, we have been asked to go fix something.
That's always a good sign.
Do we know how to fix the thing? No.
No one knows how to fix the thing. It's a borking of the space-time continuum. There is no fixing it.
Well, no. We know what we need to do to fix it. It's just a matter of getting to where the problem is. So we
Isn't
can
that always...
then unbork the space-time continuum.
Yeah, that tends to be the trend, doesn't it? Like, oh yeah, we know how to fix the problem. How do we get there? That's the hard part.
Yeah. So the party, having been successfully yoked through space-time by their bosses, and blessedly not burning up on re-entry.
That's always helpful. Re-entry is a bad thing to burn up on.
Yeah. We start kind of figuring out the lay of the land, and we discover fairly quickly where we are. And the fact that this is probably going to be a problem. Because guess where we are?
Where?
We're in a... We are in a version of Camelot, where Morgan Le Fay won.
There are worst case scenarios.
Yeah,
Not many, but there are worst case scenarios.
Yeah, I fully admit there are worse scenarios we could be stuck in.
I mean, you could be in a version of Camelot where Idre, Goch, and Albion are still going at it.
I don't even know who those are.
A pair of very large, very angry dragons.
Ah. Yeah,
Rig the Welsh and the White Dragon of Albion.
Ah, yeah, that could be... That could be a much worse situation than where we already face ourselves.
Yeah. Some versions of the story have them have those two so powerful and angry that
Merlin had to get involved.
Merlin had to get involved. Yeah, Merlin was involved. Like they're all versions of the myth. Merlin was involved. Like he was there. He was dealing with that shit. Mostly he was using them as a fortune telling device because, why use a crystal ball when you could use a couple of pissed off dragons?
Yeah. Now, the reason this is interesting for my character, the fact that they're stuck in a timeline where Morgan Le Fay won the Camelot issue, is that my character is technically a Pendragon.
Oh, dandy.
It's just, this is not how I wanted the family reunion to go. Not at
Generally
all.
speaking, that is not at all what you want for the family reunion now.
For context, she's basically from a member of the Pendragon line that went on to lead, that after being born just kind of went on to lead a very quiet, unassuming life. The
Yeah, because let's be honest, doing
rest
what
of
the
the
rest of the
family is
family
cuckoo
is
for Cocoa
pain.
Puffs.
Yeah, the family's bug nuts. So let's go somewhere else.
The Arthur, or in this case Artoria, was perfectly fine, just in need of counseling. Morgan went full bug nuts.
Oh, Morgan's. Wasn't she already there?
She was staring down the dock at Crazy Town and just you know what, just decided one day, you know what, let's do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that the space time continuum is fucked is problems.
No, showed up and watched them fight.
But yeah, so yeah, do you want to know why the borking of the space time continuum is our party's smallest concern right now?
Does Morgan want to bang your character?
No. Morgan doesn't know my character exists yet. Hopefully.
Okay. It's a matter of time. Morgan's gonna want to bang your character. Crow's already heard this. Crow has heard me. Crow has the idea now. It's gonna happen.
Anyway, so our poor band of misfits. When we ported into this area, there were we were traveling in a group of 5.
Uh-huh.
When we
Let
got
me guess.
there,
This is now a group of 4 trying to catch the 5th.
well, we misplaced one of them because this is more an art than because yeeting through the space-time continuum is more art than science.
Which is not comforting when you're the one being yeeted.
Yep. And a majority of the party got captured by the remaining Knights of the Round, who are also part of my character's familial line.
I forgot. Have they also been turned into cutie JPEG waifus?
No, actually, most of the Knights of the Round have stayed dudes.
Okay.
They are
An odd situation indeed.
Some of them are still pretty though.
Okay. Yeah, but that's more husbando than waifu.
Yeah.
So you've been captured by the Knights of the Round. What's left of the Knights of the Round?
Most of us.
After Morgan started Morganing.
3 out of the 5, and when the session ended, we just sprung 2 of them. So all that's left is to go track down our remaining member, who did not lie low when he crash landed without us.
Dandy.
We met Sir Agravain and hated him within 5 seconds.
Okay.
Because he's a dick.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the parts of Arthurian myth that don't involve dragons. So, I actually don't know who any of the Knights of the Round are, aside from Lancelot. That's the only name, and I don't even know what Lancelot did or anything. I just know the name.
He's the one who boinked King Arthur's wife.
Ah. Poor decisions were made.
Well, in his mind, it was a great decision. Until, guess who outed him?
Morgan Le Fay?
Yup.
Or King Arthur's wife? Okay. I mean, these royal stories are usually a clusterfuck of terrible decisions. So, knowing exactly predicting who did what is complicated because everyone is capable of being really fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It's like every single person there is
Yep.
an E1.
Yeah. Sir
They're an E2, fresh out of basic, and have no
Childhood.
idea what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah. Basically, everybody in the remaining Knights of the Round is a great. So many greats, we are not even going to bother count grand uncle or auntie to my poor character. And it's just, and she's just going, I hope to God none of you are where my family line started, because you're a prick. So let's Mumsy. Bad Mumsy.
Well said, Mumsy. Well said, Mumsy. Hey, Mumsy is part of chat. That means Mumsy is now obligated to be a Chaos Goblin. And now you have me co-hosting, and I'm a Chaos Goblin professionally.
Well, Cataclysmus, in the fake canon, it's implied that it was a full-on affair.
All the knights remaining. All the knights remaining. All children of Morgan Le Fay. I wonder how that happened.
Yeah. Fortunately, not all of them were made by Morgan Le Fay boning her sister.
Yeah. Yeah, we say that. We say that currently.
Nope. We know for a
plot twists. Plot twists always happen.
Well, no, like we know I personally looked these up, so it's like, okay, which one isn't an incest baby? Turns out all of them, except for Mordred, aren't incest children.
Still feel sorry for Mordred.
Is Mumsy's character the one they're missing? No.
Of course not. Mumsy rolled perfectly.
Oh, they still spotted his ass because servant.
Yeah.
Because servants have perception for fucking days.
Have you guys summoned servants yet?
We haven't summoned any, but we have found some in the wild.
Okay. I still demand Sue be a servant.
Yeah. We did.
And I'm gonna add another to this. Nessie also needs to be a servant.
Knowing Type Moon, they'd make it into an adorable little waifu creature.
And knowing our community, we don't have a problem with that.
Fair. Who got separated from the group? A NPC by the name of Quentin.
NPC got separated from the group. Plot is occurring.
Yeah. He's the first one they found and the one who got immediately just, you're our prisoner now.
Yeah.
Him.
Yeah,
Hey,
but Nessie needs...
Yeah, Nessie needs to be a servant.
Nessie needs to be a servant, and Sue needs to be a servant. We need a T-Rex and a plesiosaur.
Who cares if Type Moon would make them monster girls?
Yes. We would enjoy that. I would enjoy it either way, honestly.
The one separated from Quentin, he's apparently a talented mage, but has just the world's shittiest luck.
That makes sense.
Yes? Okay. Okay.
I hear yelling happening.
We had a pipe burst last night, so the plumbers have come.
Ah. Well, at least they're on time.
Yep.
Or I assume this is on time.
Yes.
Okay.
The husband is uh, is playing quite the interesting character, and he oh, and he couldn't be more wrong. I mean, the plot seems to be moving with the players. I haven't forced any. Yeah, like you presented us with options, and we went, "Let's go rescue Quentin right now." You okay? And now we move this copied, so it would connect to this shoulder blade over here. Okay, I think I just need to, given where wings usually are, I think I've connected it to the wrong spot
Huh?
on a person.
I mean, technically, on a human being, there is no correct spot to attach wings to.
Yeah, just generally when I've seen them on a person, they're on the shoulder blades. And this one is up more like it's attached to the clavicle, which is not how that works.
Fair enough.
But yeah, we've met Agravain, I think Gawain, and Gareth.
Okay. Let me know when you guys meet Nessie and Sue.
Yeah.
Because Crow is now obligated to make that happen. I don't know how Crow is going to
I
make this
kind of want
happen,
to
but it
see
needs to
some
happen.
kind of. Well, they're both girls, and my character is straight, so I appreciate the sentiment, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Or is it? Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, so the wings should attach down here. And then
You disappoint me, Crow. Rejecting your obligations like that.
we move that there. Pencil.
Lizard gods frown upon your actions, Crow.
Oh, I know the problem.
That's good because I have no idea what we're looking at right now.
I'm trying to give it the appearance of yes, this girl has two. This girl has two
Two wings.
wings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, so the party is just in general right now kind of going, okay, time to rescue Quentin. Where are we rescuing him from? Probably the big scary castle. I don't like the sound of this plan. Well, do you have a better one? No? Then shush.
Not just Wind Dragon waifu. Wind dragon waifu with metal scales.
Considering Leo's knowing mom friend. Well, here's the thing. Because Alfie's in a fancy wizarding family, her dad is probably going to be the one who picks her romantic partner, and she's fine with that because she really does not want to do, like, accidental family tumbleweed. If that makes sense. Yeah, on the plus side, Gawain seems to be not a dick. Rap, you with
Yes.
me?
Yeah, I'm fair. I'm
Fair
digging
enough.
something up. Here we are.
Oh boy. What am I about to
Control
gaze
F.
upon?
You've already seen it. We are. Oh wait, no, that's not.
Yeah.
That's not the.
From
That's right.
everything we've been able to tell,
Down.
Gawain is shaping up
Alright.
to be not a asshole, but definitely not somebody we want to be picking fights with.
Sounds about right. All right. So, because we're doing a Kushala Daora today, I have taken the time to dig up the Kushala Reptile Kingdom page.
Thank you. There's Sir
Yeah,
Gareth.
it
the
isn't
living,
just.
living pause. Sorry.
Yeah. Yes, Ren Suzugamori. This is a Dragon Mamono. This is an Elder Dragon Mamono. This is a Kuchala, which I have the information on right here because I wrote it.
Yep.
For those in the audience that cannot see me because we're doing an art stream, I am doing a noble and refined pose right now. So, if we'd like, we can go over the Kusha information while we're doing the Kusha art.
I just need to figure out what on God's greenest earth I'm doing with this hair.
Swept back, wind swept back. Of course, it's not on Discord. It's on my Google Docs. You're not allowed to see it yet. All right. So, Kushala Daora. The Kuchala, one of the dragons native to the reptile kingdom. Family is dragon, type is reptile. How predictable. Habitat. They tend to dwell in high altitudes, particularly in snowy mountains, jungles, deserts, and occasionally visiting towns, where they are very often not wanted because they're an elder dragon and can alter the climate just by being there. Being an elder dragon, she can go pretty much anywhere she damn well pleases. Because are you going to argue with that? No. No, you are not. You might, but you will lose.
Badly.
Yes. Very badly. The diet of the Kushala involves primarily meat, as being a dragon, they are descended from a carnivorous monster. However, they also tend to eat large amounts of metallic ores. This is to supplement the growth of their scales and horns. So it is not uncommon to see Kushalas finding areas. This is one of the reasons why they like visiting mountains and cities, is to find
Snacks.
the ore veins and refined metals that they do enjoy snacking on.
Yep.
Their disposition is prideful, cold, and abrasive. They're extremely defensive and tend to be more reclusive. Though
Me.
towards their husband, they can be pretty clingy.
It's just, this is mine.
Yes. They have a preference for being left alone, and among the Elder Dragons, they are a defensive expert between their tendency to form wind barriers and uh, their iron scales. They're evasive, they're hard to hurt, and they're hard to get close to, just by nature.
Yeah.
And this is reflected in their personality. Counted among the fearsome elder dragons whose immense power can shift the balance of an entire ecosystem, the Kushala is known for being nearly untouchable. They have the largest wings in comparison to body size of any true dragon, and their heads are adorned with numerous horns. Most uniquely, their scales often have a distinct gunmetal gray color, largely because their scales are made of metal. And of course, like any dragon, they are fully capable of taking their primal form from before the ages of the current demon lord. Uh, they are rarely seen, partially due to their extreme rarity as an elder dragon. However, they are even more rarely seen in comparison to their more flamboyant elder dragon kin. Generally due to the fact that they are more reclusive. They prefer to keep well away from people, living in the furthest reaches of the wilderness, deep in jungles, in hidden canyons of desert regions, or most preferably, among the highest and coldest peaks of the snowy mountains.
So if you want to find one, pack your mountaineering gear.
Yeah, you're going to be doing some climbing. As can be expected of a dragon that is counted as part of the Sky Empress trio, they tend to live high in the air. Uh, Even then, Kushalas will prefer to travel from one remote location to the next. So reliably finding one is difficult because they really don't have a single set layer.
So it's like how it is in Fizzbands, where a dragon has a main layer, and then they have other ones like seasonal summer homes.
Essentially, it depends on the Kushala in question. Some of them will not even have a single main layer. They'll just travel from one place to another and never really settle down. Elder dragons don't have a tendency to form hordes like other dragons do.
Ah, okay.
So you could have a single Kushala be sighted in the deepest in some desert canyon one week, be seen in a jungle mountain another week, and be seen raiding a fortress for their iron another week, all hundreds of miles away because she just never even really stopped traveling. Uh, as an elder dragon, they are some of the most powerful creatures in the reptile kingdom, a cut above even other dragons. Uh,
A good
some would even
indicator that one's coming down the pipe is when, for one, massive pickup in storms, and another, everything else just kind of packs up and leaves.
yes. Uh, some would even consider elder dragons in the reptile kingdom to be legitimate deities, uh, though that's debatable.
And the dragons aren't going to stop you from thinking that.
Yeah, Kushalas are very aware of their standing and are very prideful because of it. Those who do come across a Kushala are usually treated with more cold derision than anything else. They will freely demand obedience of anyone that were to show up, and they tend to get kind of angry when they don't get their way.
So the fastest
They're
way to end up on one's hit list is go, make me.
Yeah, which is usually a bad decision because let's be honest, you're challenging a wind god.
And unlike a lot of Mamono, the ones in the reptile kingdom will not hesitate to put you in the ground.
Exactly. Uh, The Reptile King's influence is as strong as the Demon Lord's, and the Reptile King is a lord of violence and chaos as much as he is lewd.
So but anyways, so assuming you're somehow ballsy enough to decide, I want one of those.
Well, it will be said that while I will also put out that while the Kushala is not afraid to give out orders, they're more prideful, reclusive nature. They tend to prefer doing things themselves instead of relying on what they would view to be lesser creatures.
Yeah. We got an elder dragon going. How do you know if everything else is performing the Joestar family technique?
Yeah. Yeah. Kushalas, the winds and weather tend to mirror their emotions. When they're happy, calm and happy, the sky will tend to be clear and the wind's more a gentle breeze. Uh, when they're lonely or depressed, the wind will often come to a dead halt and the land will be plagued with unending rain. And
It's like, Dragon Lady's sad, how can you tell? The windsock hasn't moved in 3 days.
yeah, and when angered, you can imagine what the storms are like. An angry Kushala is a living natural disaster. In combat, they're not just a formidable foe. Their defenses are almost impenetrable. Scales literally made of steel. Your sword's gonna bounce off.
Unless unless you've prepped specifically for taking on one of these.
Yeah. But even then, you're really not even gonna have a chance to land a blow. That radar guided missile, she's gonna wrap it in a mini tornado and throw it back in your face. So, no, Thawne, do not bring any kind of projectile. Bad decision.
Because it will just end in a very bad day for you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because its thrusters are not more powerful than her wind.
Yeah.
They are also capable of flying with insane amounts of maneuverability and skill. Their ability to control the wind and the size of their wings, they're their own kite, and they're their own wind for blowing their kite. So they can sit here, they can turn on a dime. They are as maneuverable as you would expect a helicopter to be.
Some areas they can actually.
So, weaker Kushalas rely on environmental ice. So you will have the younger, weaker Kushalas. They'll tend to stick to the snowy mountains more because they will pick up snow and ice with their wind and chuck it at you. However, as a Kushala gets older,
It
they
gets
can
stronger.
Yeah, it gets stronger and they can start to chill the wind they produce. So an older, stronger Kushala will freeze up the wind that they are making just for that
and then
extra
yeet
bite.
It at you.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, they have their wind barrier. They cloak themselves in a maelstrom of wind. Try to get close, you're going to get blown back. You shoot at them, that projectile is going to come flying right back at you. And of course, they use the wind as a weapon as well. Cyclonic blast, tornadoes, gale force winds, hurricane breath, etc. They will mix in dragon element with their wind. So an angry Kushala, the wind cloaking them will turn black. And at that point, it will also not only become more turbulent and more powerful, it will start to block magic. And they will start to drastically reduce the wind temperatures as mentioned earlier. Yeah, to Kushala is not just annoying to fight; they're a fucking nightmare to fight. However, of course, despite their abilities, they are not without their weaknesses. Uh, their metal scales are obviously more conductive to heat and electricity, so thermal and electrical attacks will tend to hurt them more. Uh, and of course, their wind powers are controlled via their horns and tail. So damaging those parts of their body will reduce their capacity to control the wind. This also will happen whenever they get sick or they're poisoned. So good luck maintaining the respect of the Kushala when you're resorting to kind of tricks like poisoning them.
Yeah.
It is also notable that their scales, due to being made of metal, do not grow as easily as other dragons. So normally a dragon, most dragons do not shed their entire scales on a regular basis. They'll shed individual scales in patches, just kind of as a daily thing as they're growing.
Kushalas can't really do that.
Yeah, their Kushala scales form a more solid casing. So they have to shed their scales shed the entire casing on a regular basis, which is a somewhat violent affair. Kushalas will have to hurl themselves at mountains or, uh, if you're unlucky, a castle
It's
to
like
break open their uh, their their metal scales,
it's like
which
did
are
the
usually pretty
Kushala
well.
It's like, did the Kushala forget doors exist? No, she's just having a skin problem. Oh.
Yeah, it's not hard to tell when a Kushala is shedding because their scales will be thoroughly rusted by that point.
And in the Monster Hunter games, there is a monster called Rusted Kushala Daora, which you can fight.
Yes, it is just a Kusha that is at the
Overdue
later
for a
end of
molt.
its. Yeah, it's just overdue for a molt, and that's action during their shedding period. They are extremely grumpy. The the scales feel really tight and itchy, and you can imagine what that's going to do to their mood.
They are grumpy.
Yeah, they're rather irritable. But it is said that directly after their shed is when a Kushala is at its most beautiful, but also its most vulnerable.
Right? And if
The
you're curious
scale,
about what we mean by that, multiple kind souls have uploaded clips of the of a ecology cutscene from one of the earlier games, which shows the Kushala Daora molting process and how they emerge from it this pale white, almost glowing thing.
yes, their scales upon molting are as white as freshly fallen snow and shine like polished chrome. But
They're
they
also very
are
squishy.
they're much softer during that time, and it is a time where the Kushala feels extremely vulnerable, and very few people will ever be permitted to see them in this state.
One of the
Basically,
few
only the husband.
people. Speaking of, how does one get into the husband of the Kushala position? Aside from just being a persistent bastard.
Well, despite their general desire to keep people away from themselves, they're still Mamono, and they still have the instinctive desire to mate with a human.
To find a husband. Do they do the swoop down and pick him up and carry him off and go, this one's mine now thing?
Uh, yes and no. Generally, a Kushala's goal for a man is to find someone that they can trust their vulnerabilities to.
Basically, the
So,
I trust having you around while I'm shedding.
Yeah, that is kind of the ultimate goal, but it's also kind of their emotional vulnerabilities and stuff. They're defensive, so uh to them the parts of their life where they feel vulnerable are a major thing for them. Uh, so Kushalas tend to be watching the men in the area that they're in from a great distance, kind of very carefully evaluating behavior. They will make special note of men who have a great talent for battle or show a great deal of kindness and consideration for those around them, as those men will often be selected for their mate. A man who shows both is, of course, high up on their list for what they want. However, Kushalas are elder dragons. They hold themselves to high esteem, and they're often going to put this man to the test before even approaching him. So they're going to start using their wind and storms to test his endurance and his character.
So basically, they're going to long distance fuck with him.
Yes, and if the person proves to be especially promising, the Kushala may even challenge them to personal combat. Some of them would even go to the Hunters Guild and put a bounty out on themselves.
I'm sorry, I'm just imagining that. It's just like, wait a minute. And we have our poor hunter just like, okay, off to go hunt a Kushala. Wait a minute. This is one of the ones that can turn into a lady. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Ma'am?
yeah. Kushalas will do that if the person they want is a hunter.
And then we never saw that hunter again.
Yeah. Once a man has proven worthy, the Kushala will find an opportunity to approach him while he's alone. And at which point they will present him with a shed scale.
Which is damn hard to get.
Yes.
Especially from something with the physiology of a Kusha.
Yes. A shed scale is marking him as a potential mate and under her protection. Even wild beasts will make note of this. So this guy could be walking through the jungles of the reptile kingdom, and a fuck-mothering T-Rex, not a Tyranno, an actual T-Rex, will note this scale and nope out.
Just go, not today. I choose life.
Yeah. The only things that are going to be challenging that would be like a Joe.
Because Joes don't give a shit.
Yeah, the Joe will attempt to rape the Kushala.
Joe will fight God for half of a stale bagel.
Yes. From then on, the Kushala will start to stealthily visit the man, often urging him to make the trek to her dwelling. Those who do make that trek will be welcomed with open arms, a extreme rarity for a Kushala dwelling, let's be honest.
Because mostly when you go to Kushala's house, you're greeted with "Begone."
Yes. And they will then, more often than not, be immediately dragged deep into the Kushala's den, where she will have peace and quiet.
And cuddle time.
Yes. Should the man prove to be unable or unwilling to come to her, eventually the Kushala will grow frustrated and attempt to spirit him away herself.
It's just
and if there's anything between her and him, I wish whatever is between her and him luck, because they're going to need it.
Well, Joe isn't really the yandere type.
Yeah. Once married, the Kushala will become quite clingy to their husbands.
It's just, this is mine.
When their scales are intact, they're going to be very protective and defensive of him. Anyone who insults their husband will find that Kushalas have a bit of a razor tongue, and she will verbally tear them piece to piece. And harming him will often discover that their claws are sharper than their tongue.
It's just, sir, you have chosen death. How?
Uh,
Thud. Oh.
uh, though when it comes time to shed, the Kushala will be clingy for completely different reasons. The husband becomes their safety blanket in their most vulnerable state, which, I'm gonna be honest, it's an elder dragon, so vulnerable is a
Well, their scales are really very soft in that state, if I recall
yeah.
correctly.
Yeah, their scales are a lot softer in that state, but still Gale Force wins. Elder Dragon muscle.
The thing would
Vulnerable
have a
is it's a
hard
matter
time
of
getting.
perception.
The thing would probably have a devil of a time getting close enough to actually cause any kind of real harm.
Mm. So yeah, she's gonna want to keep him home and not want to leave home during that period.
Just, hey, haven't seen Jim in a while. Well,
But the husband is also treated to being able to see her at her most beautiful. And this is the husband, more often than not for Kushala, the husband is the only person who will ever have the privilege to see this.
either the husband or the Kushala's own offspring.
Uh, though it should also be noted that when a Kushala's scales are rusted, the only person who should approach her is her husband, because during that time they are very irritable and will lash out.
It's just, hi, honey. I've come to help. Please don't kill me.
So, yeah, the vulnerabilities of the Kushala are generally why they are so abrasive and reclusive.
So when they shed, is the rust all the way through? They kind of split like a
it,
bug coming out of a carapace.
yeah,
It's like a bug from a.
yeah, it is.
If
It
you
is
play
somewhat like an insect.
if you play Iceborne and go to the Celiana map, you can actually see a place where a Kushala has shed its skin.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not Celiana. The the map around
I
Celiana.
forgot the name.
The Hoarfrost Reach.
There we go.
If you go there to a certain map, it's past where the Shrieking Legiana nest. But once you go, and it's a bit of a climb to get there. But when you do get there, you can find a split. You can find where a Kushala Daora has shed, and it does look like a hollowed out Kushala.
Yep. I actually have a link to the old Kushala
Ecology cutscene.
ecology cutscene, and that is to be going on the Discord chat, on the stream chat right now.
Okay.
So
Yeah, it's at the very, very topmost of the mountain.
yeah,
Like
they do this at
up you can go.
yeah, they do this at mountain peaks. This is not something you're gonna see.
Often.
This is not something that's gonna be at ground level. It's gonna be at tops of mountains. If you have a very nice fortress, they might use the fortress on top of the fortress. But
much to the terror of any poor bastards living in it.
yeah, but generally they don't do. They're not going to do that. It should also be noted that while in the in the ecology video, it shows the scales hardening very rapidly. It's not going to be that fast for the Mamono.
It's going to be a bit on the slower side.
It's going to be a bit before I have that ready for on the Discord, but I will be expanding out the Reptile Kingdom section of the Discord. And
Yep.
hopefully Felix and Susan will accelerate the stuff on the Monster Girl videos and start including some of the Reptile Kingdom stuff. Hint, hint.
Our schedule is a little wonky because he got yoinked back to work sooner than expected.
Yeah. I know. I'm mostly joking there.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that is the Kushala Daora in a nutshell. In terms of the Mamono.
Yep. Now you'll notice here that I colored in her eye solid with no visible white or pupil. That is because of this.
Yeah, the Kushala's eyes are straight up like that.
Yeah. Yes, your comments went through. I am just doing 5 different things at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, the I am gonna do some color play, so it does look like so it does look a little bit like what it does in the in that cutscene still. But I make no promises about accuracy.
Yep.
And I don't know why, but just for some reason her having like grayish hair really works in my head.
I mean, a Kushala's hair is probably going to be made of the same stuff as her scales. Just magic.
So to be like hair.
Yeah, magic to be like hair. But yeah, her hair is going to be made of metal. Of course, I come up with great stuff. Have you met me? Please.
Yep. So I did think of something rather hilarious. If just the dude, one of the first things the dude is greeted with upon arrival. Okay, there we go. It seems to have fixed itself.
Mm.
Is the aftermath of some poor hunter, or heck, even somebody affiliated with the order, because you did mention at some points that those do come to visit.
Yeah, the Order does invade the Reptile Kingdom with
Rarely.
heroes and
This rarely goes
crusades.
well.
It never goes well. But
They
they do it pretty
discover.
regularly. They actually
Yeah.
count the Reptile Kingdom as almost as bad as the Demon Lord, the Reptile King. They dislike the Reptile King almost as much as the Demon Lord.
Yeah.
Some hate him more because he plays a more active role in messing with them, where the Demon Lord is
pretty passive in terms of agree.
Yeah, the Demon Lord is staying in her castle, blinking her husband. The Reptile King is chaosing.
Yep. But yeah, so what the poor person sees is the aftermath of some poor order schmuck trying to mess with a juvenile Diablos Mamono and getting her pissed off. Mom.
Yeah,
Yes,
do
I'm well
not
aware
anger
the
Dia.
aftermath of that is a yes, I'm well aware the aftermath of that is a dead body.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, the
well,
Dia is
dead meat jelly bag.
Yeah, the Dia is one of the angriest of Mamono. I mean, like, Joe is the anger pickle. The Dia the Dia is just angry.
At life, the universe, the fact that you exist.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're not even horny most of the time.
They're
They
just
have a
angry.
heat cycle. They're just angry. And then when the heat hits, they get more angry.
And God help whatever poor bastards they find in that state.
Yes.
It's just, I'm just out here picking some cactuses. Oh my god!
And then there's what happens when you break their horn.
They get worse.
Yeah, they get more angry.
And it's no longer just your problem. It's you and every other bastard who comes across them.
No, Cataclysmus, let me explain this to you. Slanesh, Nurgle, Korn, Zinch, They're not chaos gods. They're wannabe chaos gods. They're gods of evil. They just like using the word chaos because chaos sounds cool and edgy. The Reptile King is the chaos god.
Well, for one, Jude is a dude, so.
Gender bent Jude is a dia.
Well, Jude is also a robot, so.
Gender bent Jude is a mecha dia.
Very much. But yeah.
There are mechanoid beasts. There are robot girls in the Reptile Kingdom.
For some reason.
Reptile King
Meanwhile-
said so.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you have poor Ava who's just like, I hope to God none of this like weird background radiation affects me.
Yeah, the Order never learns. The Order is a religious group of zealots, so
Or
yeah, they're obligated to not learn.
Who are an unfortunate combo of stubborn and stupid.
Yeah, I mean it's not even stubborn and stupid. It's just zealotry. Zealotry makes people stupid.
Yeah, the thing is,
Never become righteous.
everything the Order is doing is just sending more husbands to the monster girls.
Yeah, or more monster girls, depending on the gender of the people they're sending.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fun thing is the Reptile Kingdom is a spirit realm, a fucking massive spirit realm, created by the Reptile King.
So just okay, we got in. Now what?
Yeah, and it's not hard. The Reptile King has physical borders. You just walk over the border and you're there. The borders are tiny, and the kingdom is massive, but it's there. You can just walk right in, no problem. Walk right out, no problem. Getting in and out's not hard.
Staying alive once you get in, though, is where the hard mode starts.
Yes. And actually getting where you're trying to go is also pretty difficult if the Reptile King does not. If the Reptile King wants to mess with you.
Yeah.
See, there is no map of the kingdom because the Reptile King can rearrange the kingdom as he sees fit. So if the Reptile King decides that you being sick and tired of being in the desert is funny, and you walk out of the desert and you're walking away from the desert, you're going to end up walking back into the desert.
Yeah. Of course,
Does he think you being there is hilarious?
And of course, now I have to think about what Ava would be like if she were to transform in such a way.
Wait, Trent, where's the Ava?
Well, it's like Jude, monster, Ava, quietly hoping the background radiation or whatever is causing this doesn't affect her. It does.
Ah, yeah, that's fair. Really depends on what's going on with Ava.
Well, she's a
I mean, honestly, by my knowledge of monsterization, it really depends on what Mamono are in the area and what Mamono, what demonic energy is influencing her. So she could end up being anything, depending on what Mamono she's being corrupted with.
Fair.
Because monsterization is more dependent on the demonic energy tainting you than any aspect of you.
Right. Although for some methods, personality can have an influence.
Yeah, for some methods. And for some methods, the whims of whoever is transforming you can also have an influence. If Alolum decides, you know what, it would be funny to turn this this genius magic user into a worm, that genius magic user is now a worm. Good luck.
So the Reptile Kingdom is the land of god shit. Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, the Reptile Kingdom is the Reptile Kingdom is a mess. But it is a very specific kind of mess because the Reptile King wants it to be that kind of mess.
Yeah.
The fact is,
Regarding the monsterization of poor Ava, let's assume we're working with a type of monsterization where personality has an effect.
so like Lilim's Nostrum or something. Or yeah.
How Lilith's Panacea is what it's called.
Yeah, that's it. Lilith's Panacea.
How did she get her hands on it? I don't fucking know.
The Reptile King snuck it into her back pocket when she wasn't looking.
Used a little bit of food dye to make it look like a health potion.
Yes.
It's like, well, time to chug a healing potion.
Well,
Mistakes
she's healed.
were made.
Well, she's healed.
Mistakes were made.
Namely
by me.
It really depends. I mean, there's quite a few. I think there's a few that she could end up as in the Reptile Kingdom. She's a rogue, right?
Rogue Bard combo platter.
Ooh, she could be a Pecco. That would be hilarious.
Rogue Bard combo platter with a large focus on archery.
Okay. I could see her as a Seragios. Does she like kicking people in the face?
She is aggressive when provoked.
Let's see, Control F. Get rid of that. Get rid of. All right.
She's not like hyper aggressive or anything, but if she is provoked, she will very much throw hands.
Okay, yeah, the Seragios is not a hyper-aggressive Mamono. Bold, fearless, and stubborn. Pretty ferocious when angered, but also very protective, affectionate, and devoted.
Yup. That's Ava to a T, right there.
All right, so let's go over this real fast. Known as the Dragon of a Thousand Blades, the Sere is a fearsome wyvern that leads a nomadic lifestyle. They have powerful wings in place of arms, and these wings have 3 claws, allowing them to grasp and manipulate objects. Talons on their feet are unique, with 2 facing forward and 2 that point backwards, giving their talons a powerful grip. Growing from their forehead is a single-bladed horn. And from the rear grows a strong clubbed tail. Their most dangerous feature, however, is their scales. Normally, these golden and orange scales lay flat across the body. However, when angered, the scales of a Sere will stand on end and rattle violently. Each scale is sharper than a razor, making attacking a Sere a risky proposition, and the blows dealt by a Sere can be incredibly damaging. What's more is the Sere can shoot these scales from their body and regrow them extremely quickly. And, like all dragon family Mamono, a Sere can revert back to their primal form from before monsterization. So, already you can see that Seres are physically impressive Mamono.
And not to be trifled with unless you enjoy the idea of dying.
Yeah, unless you enjoy being minced. Seres don't need poison. Seres don't need fire. Seres don't need lightning. Seres are just sharp. Every part of them. Keep in mind, the Seragios is the monster that introduced us to the bleed debuff. And they're very good at causing it.
Yep.
The Sere is a confident and pugnacious Mamono who win their battles through superior speed and skill. They tend to practice a wide variety of martial arts, so if you're a monk, the Sere would also be an appealing class, an appealing Mamono. And they seek out other fighters to test their skill against and to learn from. Originally, they had lived in peace in the mountains, practicing their arts against one another and their husbands. However, their mountain home was destroyed by a mighty elder dragon, forcing them to scatter across the kingdom. This was a non-monsterized elder dragon of enormous size. So, mountain, when we say the mountain was destroyed, we mean there is no mountain anymore.
Right, right. Now, I am making the head scales a little bit lighter than the rest,
Yeah, sure.
just for a little bit lighter than the hair, so that way they don't blend in and just look like a weird, like, what the frick did you do to your hair?
Yeah, it's usually it's most people go darker with the horns, but yeah, lighter makes sense too. Actually, lighter makes more sense in some ways. Weird. Anyway, uh, of course, in battle, Ceres are a force to be reckoned with. Fast, agile, and they often fly in ways that seem to defy the laws of physics and just ignore gravity. They are very, very agile and prefer rapidly delivering powerful kicks and are often hated for their fighting style, which is often described as flippy kicks.
Why do I imagine somebody just going, "Cat, ow, you, ow, not, ow."
Yeah. Uh, Another thing series are known for doing is grabbing an opponent with their feet and just like hurling it at another person.
Question:
Yes.
would the dexterity of either the wing talons or the feet allow a monsterized Ava to use a bow and arrow?
Oh, quite easily.
Okay, then I'm fine with this. Carry on.
Uh, in fact, she would come loaded with her own arrows if she really wanted to be mean. Because she
Well,
could very
if we're
easily.
basic, well, Seregios in the 4 Ultimate games was driven off of their home by, I believe, either a Gore or a Shaggaroo.
Almader, actually.
Oh, a Dally. Okay. More
Yep.
you know.
Dilly Dally was very rude to them.
Well, to be fair, it probably did not know they were there.
That's true.
Now we have to
Uh,
see an art stream of that. God, I bring these things upon myself.
yep. So, along with their kicks, the Serai uses heavy use of their bladed scales.
Makes sense. They
Uh,
are essentially a walking knife.
yeah. Uh, the scales are more often not charged with demonic energy, making them function more like demon realm silver than actual blades.
But
Uh,
because they're from the reptile kingdom, they can shut that off.
yeah, they can shut that off and just blend you.
Just. What was
Uh,
that noise? Remember Steve?
yeah, he's paste. The thing with the Surrey scales, though, is they tend to make their target bleed profusely, whether it be actual blood or energy. And when cut with the Demon Realm silver affecting form of the blade, the effect lingers, so they will be bleeding out their energy over time.
Don't mind me, I just realized I need to put clothes on her.
Yeah. So, yeah, Saray is also quite feared for grappling because they can have four things to grab you with instead of two, both their claws and their talons. So they will frequently use as an opponent as a club or projectile against another opponent.
It's just. Watch out, my friend! Why? Yeet!
Yeet, yeet, dumbass, delete!
Takis pops up out of a bush. Was gonna catches a Spyro to the face.
Yeah, that could very well happen. It should be known, however, that the tenacity that Ceres show in pursuing duels with opponents is not really out of animosity or even just battle lust. It is loneliness.
Makes
To a
sense. They've
Ceres,
been driven from their homeland.
yes. Ceres used sparring and group training as social interaction and emotional bonding.
Now, with their people scattered and driven to the four winds,
They have very few people to do that with. Well, generally they won't admit it. They are fairly prideful. Without the opportunity to engage in these activities, they become very lonely and unhappy. Thus, they are almost always seeking someone out to do this with. While they're rarely intentionally seeking out a husband,
this just
the
tends to
men,
kind of happen along the way.
yeah, the men they spar with, it develops that emotional bond and that social interaction for them. And Mamono being Mamono, if they as they spar with the person again and again, that attachment grows stronger. And it will start to turn into romantic and sexual attraction. Uh, which can be a mixed bag.
For the poor schmuck.
Yeah. So a married Sere is extremely devoted, of course, to their husband. This being one of the very few people that they have that social interaction with. But they're also physically affectionate.
Which
They
can be
like to
exciting considering that they are walking blenders.
exactly. They very much like wrapping their wings around somebody, and yeah,
Which can
their
get
wings are made of
exciting
blender.
when they are a walking blender.
Uh,
It's like, why does nobody accept my hugs? You're a walking blender.
yeah. And she will, of course, want to frequently spar with their husband and delights in raising both her own skill and the skill of her husband to new heights.
because
Uh,
the strength of her husband, to a degree, reflects on the strength of her.
exactly. And it is actually just a wholesome joy of seeing their husband succeeding, especially in martial arts and combat, which is something that they are also passionate about. It's like you share something, they share an interest with their husband, and they're really excited to see their husband doing good in it.
So, question.
Yes.
I know some Mamono have species-specific equivalents of a wedding band. Because this lady has already been adopted, do Kushalas have like a cultural equivalent, or would she just have a standard wedding band?
Uh, Depends on the Kushala. A lot of times, high-ranking Mamono, like Elder Dragons or Mamono that just have that kind of rank, uh, at least in the Reptile Kingdom, don't feel as much a need to mark themselves as single, uh, or mark themselves as taken, just because if they're present, if a Kushala is present, everyone knows the Kushala is present. So people
And
are
generally, where the
generally,
Kushala is, the husband is sure to follow.
yeah. I mean, usually a Kushala signifies that she's taken by having her man within arm's reach pretty much all the time. Uh,
Right.
though I would imagine that depending on the husband's, it would be more dependent on the husband's culture for a Kushala. So if like the husband's culture had wedding bands as part of it, she would have a wedding band made for herself and want to wear that. Because ultimately, husband being happy makes Mamono happy.
Yes.
And yes, Cataclysmus. Kung Fu fighting is playing in the background of every Seregios training ever. The Reptile King ensures it.
And we can say that this is the left hand. There we go.
Actually, hold on. That should be the right hand, isn't it?
Yes, but the left is
Okay.
obscured.
Okay, yeah. So
And if all fails, I can just mirror her around a bit.
Yeah, that's true. So the husband of Iseri will actually receive some benefits from having her demonic energy being in his body
All the time.
all the time. Yes. So, for instance, her scales will have the Demon Realm Silver effect on him at all times. They just will not cut his flesh.
They will not blend him.
Yeah, they won't blend him.
They will blend everything else around him, but not him.
Yeah, which is very lucky because between the frequent sparring and physical affection, there's going to be lots of cuts from this, from her. Initially, Asari's husband is going to be very weak from this because he is gushing out his spirit energy all the time.
Until he gets used to it.
However, yeah, as he gets used to it and he will get built up with that, he will start becoming significantly stronger. And that constant drain of spirit energy is going to be he will not only adapt to that but supersede it. So a husband to a Sere is going to have a massive surplus of spirit energy going on just because his body is adapted to losing it all the time. And some odd reason, when in the hands of a Sere or her husband, bladed tools and weapons tend to be self-sharpening and won't require very much maintenance. It was never really no one's really sure why, but yeah. It is also noted that Ceres seem to have a rivalry with the Astal, and the two races meet whenever the two races meet, there is almost always going to be conflict, be it verbal or physical.
And God help any poor sap who tries to intervene.
Yeah, and given the nature of the two Mamono, both being high octane, very aggressive, energetic Mamono, the verbal is very quick to turn physical.
Yeah, just God help whatever poor miserable soul is asked to break that one up.
Yeah. So, a Sere Eva, first and foremost, yes, she can definitely still use her bow, and she's going to find herself a lot more capable of just hand-to-hand combat. Not only due to the fact that she has natural weapons, but her body is just going to get used to the movement
of it.
Yeah, sure. She's going to get the movement down on a much more instinctual level. Kicking something is less something she's going to have to train for and more something that's just comes natural.
Right.
Of course, she has a readily available supply of arrowheads.
They just go
Yeah. And if push comes to shove, she doesn't even really need her bow. She can just shoot her scales out pretty much from almost anywhere in her body.
On occasion, and if necessary, yeet an opponent towards the party's tanks.
Yep. So her tail's going to be shooting scales. Her wings are going to be shooting scales. Her legs are going to be shooting scales.
Everything.
her
Walking
entire
blender.
body. Yeah, it's not just a walking blender. She is a multi-directional shotgun spray of razor blades if she decides to be. So, good luck fighting that.
There is probably like one person who could probably try it and live.
Yep.
There. Now it's the left. And just kind of scoot that over. There. So she wouldn't need. No, she would not need Moira. She would probably still use Moira. Because, well, as a bow, Moira has really cool properties. So, Rep.
Yes.
To give you an idea of what the bow in question is capable of, if a thing is above a, so it's a pretty much kind of your standard plus. It's a +3 short bow.
Okay.
And one of its properties is that, in addition to the d6, it does a d8.
Ah.
But if the thing she's fighting is at or above a certain size class, that 1d8 becomes 2d8.
Okay. So does she have a rival of any sort?
She had one.
I'm hearing something horrible happened to this person.
That episode has not come out yet. I can't say anything.
Okay. So that episode hasn't come out yet. Her death is not canon yet.
Right, but yeah, she had both a friendly rival and someone she had a more genuine, like, I don't like you rivalry with.
Okay.
She had one of each, basically.
So, yeah, for thematic purposes, we would say that rival would monsterize as an Astal.
Yeah. Of course, if she does, it's just like, well then, this is a thing. Waves the tail a little too hard. You okay over there? Thud. Oh. Ugh. Daora, need to fix something.
Yeah, Sarah, being a Sarah is probably going to take some getting used to.
Yeah, and not gonna lie, once she figures out the magic to do so, first thing to do, arms.
Yeah. I mean, the Seri has a set of finger claws on her hands,
Yes,
so
but it's more just a
her wings are still
subtle-
dexterous.
It's more just a subtle shifting down of where the wing begins.
Yeah.
So it's like, yay,
So
hand.
So yeah, she would still have hands, and they would still be fully dexterous for human-like stuff. 3 fingers, but what are you gonna do?
But yeah, it's just, okay, I have the fingers arrangement I'm used to.
Yeah.
Basically, what she'd do is, once she could, slightly shift where the wing begins down onto her wrist.
Mm-hmm.
So like that first,
I mean, that's naturally where it's at.
Yeah, but it's just like, so like, it would still function like a wing would, but it would be more like a Narga's arrangement.
Okay. I mean, for Wyvern Mamono as a whole, that's kind of how I imagine it anyway.
Right, it's just, behold, hands.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the biggest,
Ava's
second biggest downside of harpy type Mamono.
Yeah, Ava's also very much a musician, so it's like I require the standard allotment of fingers. Please, thank you. Okay, so now we're gonna do something interesting. Normal. Shade / shine. Crank it up to white. Pencil. Size 20. Gonna need to be a bit bigger than that. Yes, that will do. Well, these ladies kind of live on like the most sort of isolated peaks and all that.
The color is mostly going to be snow.
Yeah.
I guess we could throw in some like blue on some of the rocks. Since there's usually a lot of matcholite in the mountains that they live on. But it's going to be a lot of gray, a lot of rock and metal and snow is what you're looking at.
Yeah, why are we putting this strategy? Ava will bring up the same or similar reactions to the party as Monk. Yes.
I mean, Monk Ava is potentially worse, given who Susan has agreed upon on how she became a monk.
Well, the Akroan military does have courses on unarmed combat.
No, it's too late. You can't take this back.
Okay, yeah, fair. Very, very small trees. Okay, little tiny tree time.
Yeah. Ava was kidnapped as a child by a homeless, dimensionally displaced lizard. And then her monk training began. No one gets this because no one knows what D&D campaign I'm referencing, which makes me sad. All right, quick explanation. In a D&D campaign, Susan and I am in, and a few others. My character is Cursice, the Vagabond. Only lizard flavored. Exactly. Cursice the Vagabond is a lizard folk who was born under the sign of a homebrew dragon god called Vulnerabilities. Basically, in the setting we're dealing with, Bahamut is a dragon god of good. Tiamat is the dragon god of evil, but there is also a dragon god of order and a dragon god of chaos sitting on the other two sides of the alignment square. Cursice was born under the influence of the dragon god of chaos.
I can see the reaction. Yeah, that bro. What do you think of this for like an indicator of the kind of wind powered swirly goodness?
Like it? She looks fancy. Maybe have some kind of swirling around her tail, since the tail is part of what she uses to manipulate the wind.
Okay, yeah, sure. Just give me a second.
Cursice, due to some shenaniganry, he got himself, we'll say, evicted from his tribe. Since chased out at spear point does not sound as heroic. But Cursice was removed from his tribe and became a hobo, a murderous hobo who eats people because lizard folk. Kursai's being slightly insane, he ended up going to different monastic temples, learning how to do kung fu fighting. Because hand to hand was kind of all he had in his tribe. They wouldn't let him have a spear. And through the temples that he went to, got kicked out of the various wandering martial artists he learned under before getting chased off. And through lots and lots of trial and error, Kursai has formed his own fighting style. The way of the vagabond fist. And because he is under the influence of a dragon god of chaos, his fighting style is too under the influence of a dragon god of chaos. So basically, you have a monk that does dirty fighting and is charged with wild magic. And everyone who learns his style is cursed.
Just a smidgen.
Just a little bit. It's not a really bad curse. Basically, they must live in interesting times. If they don't find chaos. If they don't find chaos and adventure finds them.
There we go. I kind of like that.
Why did he get chased off or kicked out? Like, other than being a chaotic numbskull? Like, out of his tribe or out of the various monastic temples? There's a lot of things he got chased out of / kicked out of here. Kursai is a walking problem.
And for some reason, our unfortunate band decided, yes, we will adopt him.
He adopted them. Oh yeah, she looks fancy. I like her.
Yeah, I'm tempted to turn this into like a light, but then that doesn't look as like striking.
Turn what into a light?
Like the wind, I have it on a different mode than most of it, so I'm just trying to find a good one that.
I would keep it more wispy, and then if we really wanted to, like, have some wind that has like some black and like ice shards mixed in, that could actually be a way to throw in a little bit more color, like have a little bit of blue in the ice shards, and have that black kind of a little bit of striking, and like have that wrapped around her hand or something.
And I think I know just how to do it. Airbrush tool. Away!
The list is undetermined, Simon. I do not know how many places he got kicked out of. I do know he almost got his village destroyed twice. I know that there's probably some explosions and property damage involved. The thing with Curse Ice is whenever he uses his key, wild magic can occur. And he quite literally has chaos flowing around him. Anastasia. I don't know how to pronounce that.
I like that.
Oh yeah, she looks good. Well, I'm getting a lot of slowdown. Like the footage is blurry for me, but from what I can see, she looks good.
And I am very sorry, everyone. I'm going to have to end the stream here today as my child has a half day from school.
Yep.
Cataclysmic Wind, I will send you a DM with. I will send you a direct message so we can pick. So I can hand her off to you. Merge.
Don't worry. I'll get a screenshot of the video. I kid. Yeah, Simon,
Save.
the wild magic can with Curse Ice, anything can occur. And it gets even better. In later levels, Curse Ice is going to be able to scoop up a ball of wild magic and throw it at people as a Hadouken.
Okay. Everything has been saved. Thank you all very much for coming by. See you all next time.
Bye.